Welcome back to the weekend preview. The Christmas football is upon us. This is what we've got to look forward to in the Boxing Day football. There are 3 matches that are postponed, so 7 going ahead. Manchester City taking on Leicester, Norwich against Arsenal, Tottenham Crystal Palace and West Ham Southampton are the 3 o'clock kickoffs UK time. Then we've got Aston Villa taking on Chelsea in a 5:30 UK kickoff before the late game between Brighton, who are on the longest winless run in the Premier League at the moment, taking on Brentford. Then on Monday, the round finishes off at St James's Park as Manchester United are the visitors. Let's hear from both managers, Eddie Howe and Ralf Rangnick.
Had huge influences on some of the Premier League managers that are currently active and successful in the Premier League, and he's one of the culture change, really, managers, I'd say, who's brought in a lot of new ideas that a lot of people have followed, a definite pioneer of the game. He's someone I've had a couple of conversations with over the years and someone I highly respect and admire. I think anyone who has his reputation in the game and some of the things that he's achieved at different clubs shows that his methodology works wherever he goes. So I've got no doubt he'll make very instant changes to Manchester United. He'll bring in his own way of playing. I've already seen that in the 2 games that they've had. And they've started to mirror him and his personality. So, yeah, we expect a very tough game and got a lot of respect for Ralf and his work.
What a big tradition that this is in England, to play Boxing Day, to play on the 27th, even on the 30th, or then on the 2nd of January. This is a big tradition, and I think we should stick to and respect this tradition. I'm looking forward to that. For me, it will be the first time in my coaching career that I will be part of that. All the players, they did their homework. They all had their schedule to train at home, and all of them just they stick to that schedule and to that program. So from what I saw today in training, I can say most of them, if not all of them, might be available. And of course, I would have to take some difficult decisions: who will be in the squad, who will be in the starting 11.
Well, we talked earlier on about this tradition of Boxing Day football and how it's not something we see across the rest of the top European divisions, Jules. You can see that Ralf Rangnick is actually genuinely really looking forward to this for the first time.
Living his best life. Like, clearly, that's his Christmas. Christmas present is there. Yeah, Boxing Day. He probably dreamt of Boxing Day. Tuchel was a bit like that too, to be fair. I think there's really this envy, and not so much envy, but listen, this is his dream job. I think coming to England to start with, United, the biggest English club, and now Boxing Day as well, in a team with Cristiano Ronaldo and all the big stars too. So I think in his wildest dream, he never thought he would get this opportunity at his age, at this time of his career. Now he's got it. He's going to enjoy every single minute. He's doing a decent job so far. I think there's much more to expect from him and the team if he can get his ideas across. But yeah, Boxing Day for him is, I mean, he might be probably being gutted not to play actually on Boxing Day. Yeah, I think that's the only regret that maybe he has. He has to wait 27.
Look, in terms of Manchester United, it's hard to remember the last time they played. December the 11th, it was their victory over Norwich. So what kind of United are we expecting to see? Because it's not as if Ralf Rangnick has come in and he's had all this time to work with his full squad. There's been all these COVID disruptions, the closing of the training ground. So what are we expecting to see, Leanne?
I've blocked out a lot more than that this year with being a Man United fan, Jules. But, this game, Cristiano Ronaldo to the saviour again, and a lot of people have said, how people could turn around and say he's been detrimental to Manchester United is beyond me. But I think I still see Fred and McTominay in the 2 in the midfield that I don't quite like. I don't think people talk about we need to bring in a defensive midfielder, Man United do, but I still think there's a lot of quality there. I still think there just needs to be more guidance, and he seems like the type of manager tactically that can bring that, because I don't think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, tactically he was inept, Manchester United legend, but clearly, that ran its time a long, long time ago, and it's taken almost too long to bring in someone else. But you've got to start somewhere, and I think the fact that some of the coaching staff have moved on as well, a lot of respect for them. But I do think Manchester United need a complete clear-out, staff-wise, to re-go again, because Man United just haven't been where we need to be for years. Come second last year. How Manchester United come second, I have not quite got an idea. But I think when it's Man United, they are held to a different standard. It's like they lose a couple of games, oh my God, it's a disaster. Win a couple of games, they're going to be in the top 4. But I still want to see more improvement. I still don't know, you know, against Newcastle is a foregone conclusion Man United are going to win, because you still don't know which team is going to turn up on any given day, because he's only been there a month or so. You know, he can't work miracles, because I don't think the players were playing that well under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and everybody can see that. Jadon Sancho, Cristiano Ronaldo, Varane, Cavani, a lot of injuries, but I think people are talking about Lukaku going to Chelsea. Chelsea all of a sudden going to win the league. Manchester United bringing Ronaldo and Jadon Sancho, and they're still saying they can potentially make the top 4. So hopefully now with Ralf Rangnick, that can change and Man United can go back to where they used to be.
When we reflect on the couple of games we have seen Manchester United under Ralf Rangnick, what changes did you see in those early stages that they've hopefully built on since then?
Well, he's obviously trying to play with a higher press to try and get the ball off the opposition in their half, letting them play out, and then putting the squeeze on. I think the key factor to that is how high your defenders can come up. And centre-backs in that regard. I think Varane needs to get back as quickly as possible, because he's going to help them play out the field, leave space in behind. And in turn, that brings your midfield closer to your strikers, then you can all press together. I think we saw it against Palace, but I thought it was a half press. I think against a good side, I think they would have got popped around. I think the games have fell up perfectly for him. I think he's been able to implement his playing philosophy, which we all know because we've seen it with the Red Bull groups, what he's managed and done brilliant with, and he's developed these sides into small clubs, into European forces. And I think he's done a good job. He coaches the coaches. You know, there's a lot of guys with a lot of experience under Ralf Rangnick, so he knows exactly what he wants. And so if he doesn't know to implement it, I'm not sure how good he's going to be on the process to try and employ someone else to do it. He obviously wants the job. I think he said it in his opening press conference that, yes, he's here till the end of the season, but he could possibly recommend to the owners that he could stay on as the manager. Listen, that is what Ralf Rangnick was. Jules is absolutely right. I think he's earned the right to get this opportunity. It's taken a long time, but he's never been at a club of the size of Manchester United. This is the biggest job he's ever going to have in his managerial career. He's a student of the game, but it's very, very difficult and different managing, developing players like he did at Leipzig and Hoffenheim and the teams he's been at. The Man United, world-class superstars, ready-made, with an ego. It's different, but they're going to have to listen to him. They've got the money, he's going to have the backing, and if they don't want to listen, they go out the door. But it's very difficult at the moment. With only a 6 months contract till the end of the season, to get their attention. It's like a supply teacher going into a school and trying to lay the law down. The kids mess around. If they think he's going to be there a year or two, he's going to have more discipline. He's going to be able to crack the whip a little bit. I hope he gets the opportunity. I think he's got the best chance now. Have you seen their run of games? Their run of games are extraordinary. At the end of the run of games, they should not get beat. They beat Palace, they beat Norwich. They should win them games. If they didn't, it would be a disaster. He's got to realise, Ralf, and he'll realise very soon, if he loses the game against the 2 teams he's played, or the fixtures coming up there, this Burnley game, you're only 2 games away from a disaster at Manchester United manager, which is different at his development groups, what he's had before.
Yeah, but if they win that run of games...
They give him the job after that. You know, I think
yeah, but that's what they did.
I think they should slow down. They did the same with Solskjaer. Yeah. But this guy is a proven coach, knows what he's doing. I mean, I look at what he's doing in the background. I mean, he's brought in 3 guys who are in jobs already. So would you go there as if you were in a nice, cosy job somewhere else with a nice contract, all of a sudden you go to Man United, you say, yeah, of course I'll go to Man United, but how long am I there till? Till the end of the season? Because he's stepping upstairs, supposedly at the end of the season. You're not going to go. But he must know. He must know. Ralf knows he's going to keep that. I would believe if he does well enough, and I think after that run of games there, he takes him into the top 4, you have to say it's success. Champions League's going to start in February. Happen. Have they got the team? I think they have got a team to win any competition. But he needs to get them playing to a group. He talked about the pressing style, and it's going to be a slow burner and obviously a work in progress, and we'll see that. But it's great. Them games are great games to learn it.
But pressing as well. I know obviously you're a former manager, Tim, but when you're a player, what I see for Manchester United right at times, they can't even pass the ball. So it's all very well, you know, having all these stats and stuff like that. But some of the performances, you know, high pressing, yes, you have to work hard. That's non-negotiable. My dad always used to say to me, if you're having a bad game, still compete. And we didn't see that in Manchester United this season. But we have to, the Manchester United have to have players in there that can actually have the quality. And I just don't think that the players seem to have performing of late at their best ability they can. And hopefully he can do that. But players like Telles and Dalot, fantastic since Ralph's come in there.
It does look like a work in progress at Manchester United. What does it look like at Newcastle for Eddie Howe? Can you see a work in progress there? Have you seen any improvements since he's arrived?
Not really. I mean, we were discussing it before the show with Tim, and I think you could bring any managers there, and I think there's just not enough talent. I don't think the players are good enough, certainly defensively. I think going forward, Saint-Maximin, Wilson, Almiron are good players. I think Saint-Maximin is there, he's amazing. But defensively, they're shocking. I mean, the goalkeeper's mistake there is unfortunate, but I think they can't defend for their lives. And I think whoever comes in will struggle. And I think he struggled. Yes, he won them the first game of the season, but this is just not enough. I mean, these kind of mistakes at this level, whoever is the manager, this.
Do you think Newcastle fans might feel a little bit differently about Steve Bruce now? In the sense that I know a lot of the fans were on his back a lot, but it goes to show you that it isn't always the manager's fault. I agree, the players are not good enough, but I wonder if it's made them realise, actually, the players are just not good enough. It wasn't always Steve Bruce's fault.
41 goals conceded. That's the worst defence in the league.
Yeah.
The players they've got, Tim, is what he's got to work with at the moment. So come January, if there are enhancements to the squad made, do you still see them going down? Or
no, it all depends, Jules, what they bring in. I think it's a very difficult market, you know, because everyone's looking for this central defender who can hit the floor running, who knows the Premier League inside out, the Tarkowskis I'm going to mention. But West Ham want him. You know, so where's he going to go? And if you're Burnley, why would you sell to your rivals who are getting relegated to Newcastle? It's impossible to do. So Tarkowski would rather go, I would suggest, to West Ham. Look, Newcastle might pay him more money, might sway his decision, but that's the sort of player they need. They need a Ward-Prowse. They need someone to hit the floor running, who can go to a bigger club than at Southampton. I know he signed a new contract there, but they're struggling as well. So I think he's a realistic target. I think they can turn his head with. I think the boy doesn't matter with someone like Ward-Prowse. For me, he plays for £1 a week or £1 million a week. He'll play exactly the same. I think he's a genuine competitor, and that is exactly what they need up there. Defensively, they've got to tighten it up. I agree with the guys. I think they've got enough going forward to score the goals, and I think that's what Eddie's trying to implement. He's trying to get a connection between the pitch and the stands, and that is why he's not playing the Steve Bruce way, even though it might be foolish at times. I think he's trying to attack. He's probably trying to over-attack with the defenders what he has, because they need a little bit of protection. If they go into the market and they get the players they want, I'll give them a chance. But Pep, Brian Clough and Sir Alex Ferguson, you roll them all into one with the group of players he's got now, would not keep them in the Premier League.
What are the factors, Tim, that go into a player when they're about to move to a club or they're potentially being bought?
Honestly?
With a situation like this, where you know that they've got a lot of money and they can spend that, and they can spend that money, but does time of career make a difference to whether you're going to go down or whether... Does that come into play?
I think anyone who goes there now, I think they're going to have to give them a clause in their contract. Any decent agent will tell them to sign a contract, and there'll be a clause of X amount of money they can leave if the club get relegated. So they're only there for a short period of time, really. I mean, listen, it's a really attractive proposition for any player to go and be the start of this project. I did it myself at Blackburn. Went there when they were I left Norwich in the top flight, and I went to Blackburn, who were in the league below. But I knew there was a start of this process, you know, where we could actually go and achieve that. I took a gamble to go there. I never had a clause in my contract at all. We ended up getting promoted, and then the rest is history. But I believed in the process, and someone to get on this journey now is very, very exciting. They're going to have to pay the premium to get players to go there now, unfortunately, for Newcastle. But they've got the money. They're going to have to take the risk. I think they realised that when they took hold of the club, that this group of players would probably struggle to stay up in the league. They would love to keep their powder dry and stay in the Premier League and then spend it and give it all to Eddie if he's going to be the future, the manager for the future next season. But it's not the case. They need players now. With this group, they get relegated.
They need to find themselves a Tim Sherwood, don't they?
Yeah.
Or a few of them.
Too expensive.
Right, we've taken you around all our featured games, so let's bring you up to speed with the other two fixtures taking place this weekend in Around the Grounds.
Well, Joseph, what a party.
Yeah, it was a great victory for the players, the fans, and everyone.
What do you think about your performance?
I think it was good, and each game it keeps getting better.
We need this match, no, with 3 goals.
Yeah, it was really great because we fought hard for this victory, and everyone deserves to be happy.
Bueno, es el mejor partido de la temporada en lo que va de liga, ¿no?
No sé si el mejor, pero sí el que hemos sabido jugar con el marcador a nuestro favor, que nos estaba costando mucho, y sobre todo felices por ganar en casa, porque nos estaba costando muchísimo. Desde que hay público en el estadio solo habíamos ganado un partido de no sé cuántos, o sea que hoy el partido creo que era fundamental porque nos ponemos también a 3 puntos del Español, que es un rival directo, para alejarnos de ahí abajo, para irnos tranquilos de vacaciones y pensar en lo que viene.
Con el partido contra el Valencia también nos ponemos por delante, pero el Chacho se quejaba, ¿no? Un poco que nos había faltado controlar el partido, y es lo que tú dices, ¿no? Se ha conseguido.
Bueno, sobre todo hoy no hemos tenido errores individuales que nos pagaron contra el Valencia. Creo que es un partido para sacar conclusiones positivas. Hemos vuelto a ganar en casa, tenemos que hacernos fuertes aquí de lo que queda de temporada, porque fuera de casa sí el equipo está respondiendo bien y tenemos que seguir esta línea.
Cuéntame el gol, ¿no? Porque ha sido una jugada rápida, pero cuando te ha llegado ha sido como mucha pausa, las pican. ¿Cómo ha sido?
Bueno, recibo de Hugo, controlo y normalmente Diego López suele salir a tapar. Veo muchos partidos y Diego López en los 1 para 1 suele salir a tapar, entonces yo controlo y él no ve lo que voy a hacer, entonces intento picársela un poquito y cruzársela con tranquilidad.
¿Cómo ya tocaba?
Tocaba, pero ahora mismo sentimos una alegría inmensa, ya no solo por el partido, sino estamos trabajando como el que más, estamos en el día a día muy sacrificados, con los pies en la tierra, con humildad, y al final somos una piña y hoy nos lo merecíamos y se lo merecía también la afición, que pues mira, no estamos ganando, no nos están saliendo los partidos en casa y aún así la afición cree en nosotros, nos apoya y nos transmite el cariño día a día.
Eso te iba a decir, has dicho que sois una piña equipo, pero la afición también. Hemos visto ese momento tan bonito ahí en la esquina.
Sí, sabemos que le debemos mucho a esta afición, no solo de esta temporada, sino que por desgracia hemos vivido un par de temporadas muy jodidas sobre todo a nivel mental, muy difíciles de sacar, y las hemos sacado esas temporadas gracias al apoyo de ellos. En otra situación, en otro equipo, la afición lo dejaría de lado, y aquí cuanto peor iban las cosas, más estaban con uno y con el equipo. Y eso es de agradecer y se lo agradeceremos hoy, mañana y en un futuro.
En lo personal, vuelves después de varias semanas que parecía que sí, pero al final no, 90 minutos con asistencia.
La verdad que bueno, no estoy al 100%, pero creo que he podido ayudar al equipo. Venía de mucho tiempo parado, unos problemas que no se me daban ido. Entrenaba, tenía que volver a parar, volví a aparecer, volví a parar. Bueno, espero que ahora sea el fin de esta lesión del carajo, porque ya estoy frito, y que pueda ayudar y contribuir al equipo.
Saca 2001, 2022...
A por el 2022 a tope. Tenemos que seguir con los pies en la tierra, saber quiénes somos, de dónde venimos, y con esta afición, con el equipo, con el compañerismo y el sacrificio. No quiero ser pesado, pero creo que son las claves para mirar hacia adelante en un futuro.
Gracias, Hugo.
Gracias a vosotros.
Gracias, Hugo.